Hello, and I'm glad to have you back in our present lesson. And here we are going to discuss about the Primavera P6 activity course in detail. In this particular lesson, we'll learn about creating the activity codes and will understand the importance and application of activity codes and how they are used during the day-to-day activities monitoring and for other related scheduling tasks. Please note that by using activity codes, we can sort, filter, and group the project activities according to the activity codes and values we assign. In this lesson, we will learn the procedure that how to create project activity codes to filter and organize activities based on the unique project specific features or the requirements. We'll discuss that how to create the EPS level activity codes to organize the project activities. We'll also learn that how to create the global codes to organize project activities across an enterprise project structure or EPS according to the specific categories such as product, division, department, location, or project phases, etc. Kindly always remember that the activity codes are mainly used for the project schedule monitoring and reporting purposes. Please note that once your project schedule is ready, once you have defined your project WBS elements, activities, and defined relationships, etc., then you start your project execution phase. And that's where you will have activity report requests from the senior management time to time. Now, let's understand this with an example. Let's say our project is divided into three parts or sections, which are building design, foundation, and structure. And let's assume that all these three parts or sections, they have 300 activities each. So, in other words, suppose that we have building design that contains 300 activities. Then the foundation also has 300 activities. Then we have structure and that contains 300 activities as well. So we have total 900 activities in the project. Assume that we have three subcontractors in the project. So the first section or the first part, building design, we have awarded the work to the CBC designs, and foundations work we have given to the subcontractor called Sunset Construction. Then the structure is awarded to the Baytown builders. So what I said that we have three sections or phases in our project, which are building design, foundation, and structure. Now all these three phases contain 300 activities each, and the project will consist of total 900 activities. Assume that you are working for the company which is responsible for the structure, and the company name, as we said earlier, is Baytown Builders. Now you need to find out your own scope within the project. So how would you basically group, filter, or sort or extract the set of activities that belongs to your company only? So this is what we can achieve by using the activity code in the Oracle Primavera P6. And let's move further to understand this better. Okay, now let's understand the procedure that we can use to create the activity codes. The activity codes can be created by visiting the enterprise menu from the top, and in the enterprise menu, if I click on this, then in order to create the activity codes further, I need to select the activity codes option here. Okay, now as you see here, the activity codes window is opened in front of us. At the top, we have global activity codes, EPS activity codes, and then the project activity codes. If we create the activity codes at global level, that means these activity codes at global level can be used for every project in the organization. Now, if we create the activity codes at EPS level, That means we can use the activity codes at the EPS level only. In other words, if we create the activity codes at EPS level, then these activity codes can be used only for the EPS it is created for. Next, the project activity codes are used for the specific project only. So in other words, if we click on project radio button and then we create activity code, that means the activity code we are going to create here will be for the currently open project or projects only in the Oracle Primavera P6 software. Okay, then let's create the project activity codes for our currently open project, which is Arba Head Office Building Project. Okay, now first, in order to create the activity codes, I need to click on Modify button. Okay, then in the activity code definitions, in this window, I need to click on Add button here. Okay, as you see, the new activity code is appeared here. I will rename the new activity code to subcontractors. While our activity code subcontractors is selected, in the bottom of the window, we have activity code name and the maximum length is showing 7. Okay, let me change the maximum length to 25. That means the activity code name can be up to maximum 25 characters long, or it may be up to you, whatever you want as per your own specific requirements in your project. Now, another important point to remember here, as you see, we have Make Global and Make EPS buttons are highlighted. That means we can make this activity code as global, and we can make this at EPS activity code as well if needed. In other words, we can move this subcontractors activity code to the global level or at the EPS level as needed. Now on the right side from the top, the close button is used to close the activity code definitions window. Add button, as you have already seen, is used to add the new activity codes, and the delete button is used to delete the activity code. Shift up and shift down, if you have many activity codes here, then we can move them up and down as per our requirements. And Make Global and Make EPS buttons we have explained already, that if you want to shift or move our project activity code to global level or EPS level, then we'll make use of these buttons. Okay, now let me close this window. Now, as you see, under Select Activity Code, our subcontractors activity code is getting displayed there. Okay, now I can add my subcontractors now by clicking on Add button on the right side. Our first subcontractor is CBC Designs. So in the code value, I will just type CBC, and in the description, I will type CBC Designs. Now let me add the second contractor by clicking on Add button on the right side. Okay, our second subcontractor is Sunset Construction. So the code value I will type as Sunset, and in the description I will type Sunset Construction Services. Okay, now let me add another subcontractor by clicking on Add button. The code value will be Baytown, and in the description I will type Baytown Builders. Okay, then I will add another one called Casa Engineering. The code value can be Casa, and the description is Casa Engineering. As you see here, we can use these shift up, shift right, shift down or shift left arrows as needed. But at this stage, okay, I'm okay with this, so I don't need to change the arrangement of these subcontractors. And another thing, we can change the color of these subcontractors by clicking on the color cell and can assign the different color if required. I will leave this as it is. I mean, we can change the color of these subcontractors if needed, just to make it unique and look different than the others. Okay, so that's it. And now we are going to click on close button to close the activities codes window. Now that we have created these project activity codes already, and our next task is to assign these activity codes to our project activities as needed. Now there are two ways we can assign these activity codes. One way is to add the subcontractors column in the activities table view, and by using that subcontractors column we can assign the activity codes as needed. And this can be done by clicking on columns icon in the display toolbar, as you can see here. And the second way is in the activity details form below, we can add the codes tab here, and from the codes tab we can assign the activity codes as required. Okay, so firstly let's assign activity codes by using the codes tab in the activity details form here. But if you can observe here in the activity details form, we don't have any codes tab displaying here. So I will right click on any of the tabs here and I will click on customize activity details. Okay, you see the activity details window is opened in front of us. Now under available tabs, we have the codes option there. In order to display the codes tab, I have to move it under display tabs on the right side. So I will click on add to the list button here. Okay, you see immediately after that the codes option is moved under display tabs, but it is showing at the end. So I have to move and adjust the position of codes tab. I will click on this and will use the move up button on the right side. Okay, I want to move it after the status. Okay, now it looks okay with me. Then I will click on OK button. Now you can see the codes tab has already appeared in the activity details form now. Let me click on codes tab, and in the codes tab we can use the assign button to assign the activity codes to any activity in our project. Okay, let me click on the first activity from the beginning under building design, and let's click on assign button here. Remember, since we have created the activity codes for our project, so I will click on project radio button here in the assign activity codes window. Now, if you can remember, we have created 4 subcontractors for our project. First one is CBC Designs. Second one is Sunset Construction Services. Third one is Beton Builders and the Casa Engineering. Remember what I said, that we have 3 parts or sections, or we can say the phases in our project, that are building design, foundation, structure. Okay, I said that the building design is the responsibility of CBC Designs. So let me assign this subcontractor to the building design part of our project. I have already selected the first activity and I will click on CBC Designs, and on the right side of the window I will click on assign button here. Now you see the CBC Designs has been assigned already and it is appearing in the codes window, as you can observe here. Now let me click the second activity, prepare building design, and assign the same subcontractor called CBC Designs by clicking on the assign button on the right side. Okay, similar way I will click on the third activity called review and approve designs and assign the same subcontractor called CBC Designs by clicking on assign button here. So you see we have assigned the activity codes to our activities in the building design part, as you can see here, by using the codes tab in the activity details form. Please always note that if we want to remove the assigned activity code from a certain project activity, then in the codes tab, while the particular activity is selected, I can click on remove button here in the bottom. You see, it will give me the message, are you sure you want to remove the selected code? If I click yes, the activity code called CBC is removed from the codes tab. Now, if I want to assign this code again, I need to close the Assign Activity Codes window by clicking on this red cross button. So let me click on Assign Activity Code again, and CBC Design is already selected there. So I will click on Assign button to assign it again. So this is how you can assign and remove any particular activity code for a certain activity in your project by using the Codes tab in the Activity Details form. Now let's learn the second method that we can use to assign the activity codes in the activity table view by adding the subcontractors column here. There are two ways we can add the subcontractors column in the activities table view. I can right click anywhere in the activity table view and can click on columns option here. Secondly, I can select or can click on columns icon in the toolbar from the top, and this is what I'm going to do. I will click on columns icon here. You see that immediately after that the columns window is opened in front of us. Now I will click on available option, then I will select the find option from here. In the find what field, I will type sub and search for this by clicking on find next button. You see immediately after that we have found the subcontractors that we added earlier under activity codes for project in the available options. Now in order to move this on the right side under selected options, I will click on add to the list button here. Now the subcontractor column will be added after the activity ID, but I want the activity name to be displayed after the subcontractors column. So I will click on activity name and click on move up button on the right side. Now it looks okay with me. I will click on apply and click OK to close this columns window. Now you see immediately after that, after the activity ID, we have the subcontractors column here. Let me just click here and drag it and drag my mouse on the right side. It looks better and I can see and read it properly now. Now if you can observe here in the activity table view under subcontractors column, you see we have the CBC displaying there under the building design part. This is because we have already assigned the activity codes to the building design part previously by using the codes tab in the activity details form below. Now let's add the other activity codes for the foundation part, and that we can do that by double clicking on the cell in front of the activity name in the subcontractors column. Now the first activity under the foundation is site preparation. So let me double click here and you see the select subcontractors window is opened directly in front of us. Now remember we have to select the subcontractor called Sunset Construction Services for the foundation part. So I will click on this and will click on the select button on the right side. Now you see here the Sunset is displaying there under the subcontractors column. For the next activity, I will double click here once more and select Sunset Construction Services. Click on select icon here. Now you see, okay, similar way, I can click one by one and can assign the activity codes to the rest of activities as needed. But this is time consuming process. If I want to add the activity code to the rest of the activities quickly, then I will press my shift key on keyboard. Since the activity, the second activity is selected already, so by keep pressing my shift key on my keyboard, I will click on the last activity under the foundation. You see, it has selected all the activities together at once. Now I will use the fill down option or Ctrl+E keys on my keyboard together. Now you see, immediately after that, all these activities filled with the same activity code we needed. Now you see it has assigned the required subcontractor or the activity code to the rest of the activities as needed. Similarly, let me assign the activity code to our next part called structure, and I will click on the first activity. Click here under subcontractors column in the cell, and you see it will open up the subcontractors window like our previous case. Now for the structure, we need to assign the Baytown Builders as a subcontractor, and I will click on select icon on the right side. Okay, next, in order to save time, as we have discussed earlier, I can press the shift key on my keyboard and click on the last activity. You see, it has selected all the cells together in the structure. Now I will use the fill down option, Control plus E keys together, so that it will fill down the same activity code or the subcontractor to the rest of activities under structure. So this is how we can assign the activity codes using the activity table view by adding the subcontractors column as needed. Now, in case if you are unable to remember the fill down command, you can easily find this command by using the edit menu from the top, and you have the fill down option there. And fill down option can also be accessed by right clicking in the activity table view as well. Okay, as you see here, since this is our example project, but if you observe here in the activity table view, we can easily find out that the building design belongs to the CBC, which is CBC Designs, and the foundation is the responsibility of Sunset Construction Services, while the Baytown Builders are responsible for carrying out and complete the activities in the structure part of the project. Now, assume that if you have a very large project, let's say each part in the project contains 500 activities. Let's say the design part has 500 activities, and then the foundation and structure part has also 500 activities each. Then in this case, then how you are going to filter, group, sort, or extract these activities related to one particular subcontractor quickly. Now let's observe here very closely that how we are going to sort or group these activities depending on the set of activities that we have already assigned to a specific subcontractor in the project. What I will do is I will use the group and sort by command, and will click on the group and sort by icon in the layout toolbar at the top. You see, I have the group and sort window opened in front of us. Now under group by, I will click here and I will find the same subcontractors that we have created during the activity code creation process. Now if you can see here, yes, we have the subcontractors here. I will click on subcontractors option and will click on apply. Now you see, immediately after that, all our project activities are showing there. Now it is showing all the activities that are assigned to the subcontractors. Now as you can see here, all the activities there are sorted out according to the subcontractors in the project that we have assigned earlier. For example, CBC Designs has these activities to complete. Then the Sunset Construction Services has all these activities to work on and complete them on time. Then we have Baytown Builders, and it is showing all the activities there that are the responsibility of this particular subcontractor. Now, if I want to sort these subcontractors alphabetically, I can click on group and sort by, and then I will click on sort bands alphabetically. Click apply. I will click on OK. Now you see it is sorted. Our subcontractors are sorted alphabetically. Now, if I want to observe and see the activities that are related to a certain subcontractor, for example, your project manager wants you to have a report on all the activities that are the responsibility of the Sunset Construction Services. So I need to extract the activities only that are the responsibility of the Sunset Construction Services. And for this purpose, I will use the filter by option here. Once I will click on filter by option in the layout toolbar, it is opening up the filters window in front of us, which is showing the different set of defaults filter there. I will click on new to create a particular filter for our purpose, and I can find the subcontractors option here as well. So I will click on subcontractors. I will click here and select equals. Then in the value, I will select the sunset. Since our project manager wants the activities that are related to the Sunset Construction Services only, I will click OK. Let me rename this filter to sunset, for example, and click OK. Now, since this filter is selected already, I can click apply. Now you see, immediately it has filtered out all the activities that are related to the Sunset Construction Services. In the activity table view, now I can report and extract these activities and can send it to our management as needed. For example, I will click on Ctrl+A on my keyboard, right click here and select copy. Then I have copied it already. Now I can paste it anywhere, for example, in the Excel. Okay, I will go to the Excel, for example, and I can paste it here. Now, these are all the activities that are required by the project manager. I can save this and can email this file to the project manager as needed. Now, in order to return back to the original view, we can remove this filter. I can uncheck the select field in the filters window and click apply. Now you see it is showing all the subcontractors now. And then I need to go back to the group and sort by. Under group by, I will click on subcontractors and will select the WBS. I will click OK and we are back to our original view. Please note down and remember here that the global and the EPS level activity codes can also be created and assigned exactly the same way as we have just done for our project. Okay, great. Since this is the end of this lesson now, so let me quickly recap that what we have learned so far. We have learned the meaning of global, EPS, and project activity codes. As you know already, the global activity codes can be used for all the projects in the organization, while the EPS activity codes are used for that particular EPS only. The project activity codes are project specific and can be used for the specific open project only. And after we have learned to create the activity codes for our project by creating the different subcontractors in the activity codes window, then we have learned to assign the subcontractors activity codes to the different activities in our project. As we have learned to use the group and sort by and filter by options to group, sort, and extract the particular set of subcontractor activities for the reporting purposes, regardless of the number and size of the project. Okay, so this is the end of our lesson, and I hope you had another useful and learning experience with me. Goodbye and see you in the next lesson.